Well, let's take a look at the first 4 obstacles in this fast-paced practice course designed by Ann Croft. You can find Ann and her great courses on Facebook at Ann Croft Agility Coach. We will also provide you with a link to her website on the blog post for this video. Alright, right off the start you see that there's 2 possible choices for turning your dog after jump number 3. For this video, I'm going to call the red path the inside choice and the green path the outside choice. We like to use a 3-step method of analysis that was formalized by Greg Derrett. First, we take a look at the distance between the 2 choices. So in 1, the dog is wrapping and headed to the tunnel, and on the inside path, the dog is headed to the tunnel here. We measured the distances after we had set up the course, and what we found was that the distance was the same, so no advantage to either side. Second, we take a look at where the dog is coming from. Which turn is harder to make? So if we go back and look at the red path, you see that the dog has to make a full 360 turn, so this one's a little bit harder than the green path. So here we give the advantage to the outside or green path. Third, we look at where the dog is headed. Can you create a faster line after your choice? The answer here is yes. You can see that the green approach actually gives you a pretty poor angle to the tunnel. And if we take a look at the inside path, the dog gets a much nicer approach into the tunnel. So in this case, the advantage is to the inside, the red path. Now when we add up the score of these factors, we throw out the distance because it's the same for both, and we have a 1-to-1 tie. So which factor is more important? Let's take a look at the video. This is Jackie and Pete. Pete was the 2010 AKC National Agility Champion, and they're jumping 20 inches in this video. We've synchronized the video at takeoff. First, let's take a look at where the dog is coming from and which turn is harder to make. So on the left, we're going to take the inside route. On the right, we're going to take the outside route. You can see that over here on the right, Pete is able to get into the air more quickly, and that's because he's taking 1 stride less to make this turn to the outside. And this makes sense. When you think about it, when a dog is getting ready to come in for a wrap here, they're going to add in an extra stride to be able to make that tight turn. So you can see that Pete is around the wing more quickly when he's able to go to the outside. And this seems to confirm what we saw by looking at the course map, that there's an advantage here going to the outside based on where the dog is coming from. Now let's take a look at where the dog is headed. How important is a better approach to the tunnel? You can clearly see that by going to the outside, Pete is able to get to the tunnel more quickly, although not at a very good angle. One of the things that you can notice if you take a close look in here at the tunnel is that Pete is really moving the tunnel on the right side, and that's because he's having to do some of his turning while he's in this tunnel. Over here on the left side, since his approach is much straighter, presumably he's not turning on the wall of that tunnel. So Pete goes in first on this side by about a body length, and let's see what happens. You can see that Pete actually comes out first on the better approach. So even though he went into the tunnel later, on this side, he came out first. So it looks like, based on this video, that where the dog is headed, creating that straighter line to the tunnel, was a bigger, more important factor than where the dog was coming from and the turn that he had to make. You can see that the advantage here is about a body length. So let's back up and look at it one more time. The dog gets to the outside more quickly. Hits the tunnel first, but comes out later. The next step for you is to take a look at your own dog and see which way is better for you.